Welcome to Family Basics 101. I'm Dr. Bruce McClure, and we will continue our 5-part series on the home. On yesterday, we simply did a simplistic definition of what a home is. Summarily, we concluded that home is supposed to be a place of safety, a place that is durable, a place that is functional, a place that has value, and a place that is legitimate. Today we will look a little closer at the family makeup. There are basically several types of families that are more common than others. First is what we would consider the nuclear family, comprised of a husband, wife, children, adopted children, even foster children. Secondly, there is a single parent family. 1 in 4 homes in the United States have mothers that are not married, and mothers are in this group that are divorced, separated, or by death. But nonetheless, they are concluded as being single parents. There is what we would consider the extended family, where you have multiple generations living under the same roof. And then there are childless homes. It's a single person who has never had children, empty nesters, and families of this nature. Single or childless homes can also be considered a single person, because a single person actually constitutes a home. Every home's makeup has a unique fingerprint that is completely different from every other home in a neighborhood. A home can have 1 human occupant, it can have 10, it really doesn't matter. The only requirement is that at least 1 living being exists in that residence. A home has a primary personality. Now let's talk very candidly about the primary personality, because remember earlier when we talked about the extended home? Technically, every person that creates a nuclear, singular, childless home comes from an extension of someone else. So when we look at the primary personality, it becomes very, very important that in defining your home relationships, every new home ensures that it has a primary personality that is healthy for the occupants of the home. Bert Hellinger, over 50 years ago, formulated a theory that's called family constellations. And according to the family constellationists, it points to the predictability of behaviors within a given home environment. Prior traumas, such as death of a sibling, the death of a parent, exposure to major crimes, or a family suicide, can have serious future impact of the home generations later. So, according to Hellinger, it becomes imperative to really pay close attention to family constellations. The irony is, Hellinger does not make an argument that you must change prior constellations. In fact, he will argue you very rarely can change prior family constellations. But it becomes important in the present domain, the present home, and the aspirations of that present home to make sure that the generative constellations from the past does not have a negative impact on the present occupants within the new home. A strange bond of love and hate between the then child and their family will in adulthood cause the individual to become an ongoing martyr by sacrificing happiness in the empty attempt to ease the pain of the parent or other member who suffered in the past, or maybe they're still suffering. In essence, it's simply saying, if an individual in a home environment today is not careful, they will end up recreating the prior trauma that generations before them experienced. It could be the trauma of the death of a parent, as I mentioned earlier, a suicide, abuse, domestic violence, and unless the new home that maybe exists in the here and now is careful, they will bring the love of having their new home, but the hate of what happened in the old home. The sad reality is that now the martyr adult who was the then child no longer is dependent on the family constellation. So the pain of the past, the behaviors of the past, becomes the actions and the emotions of the present in the new home that is supposed to be a place of safety, durability, functionality, value, and it's the authorized place for the new established family. Let me give you a quote. Children seldom or never dare to live a happier or more fulfilling life than their parents. Unconsciously, they remain loyal to the unspoken family traditions that worked invisibly in those generations past. Family constellations are a way of discovering underlying family bonds and forces that have been carried unconsciously over several generations. So when you look at family constellations, it becomes important to look at the patterns, because inevitably the patterns will keep repeating themselves. A home has many sub-personalities as it does occupants. And because a home may have people from the husband's home life, the wife's home life, one extended family may stay now with the new husband, the new wife, and you bring all of those subcultures into the new home. A home's primary personality level of stability, spirituality, balance, helps shape all of the sub-personalities within the home. If the family is enmeshed, and it comes from generations of enmeshment to where there were no clear boundaries, and the chaos of one person became the chaos of another person, the pain of another person became the pain of everyone in the house, then in essence it's more likely to spawn ongoing patterns of depression, anger, unhappiness, grief, fear, guilt, and unfilled present generational relationships. Those current relationships in the new home will not be fulfilling relationships, simply because an individual, consciously or unconsciously, is bringing the love, hate, pain of the family constellations past into the present. The common theme becomes like this. If you come from a home where there was a sad mother, then the daughter feels an obligation to continue the sadness in the new relationship. An alcoholic father, there's a tendency to continue in being an alcoholic son. If there were relational difficulties with the parent, then there will be relational difficulties in the new relationship. I'll see you back in class again tomorrow, and we'll continue this discussion. Don't be late, and don't skip class.